Now. Sounds good. Yep, I'm ready.
In 3, 2, 1. And welcome to another episode of Fantasy Dads, episode 5. I'm your host, your fantasy dad, Jake Shiptenko.
I'm your other host, who's more of a dad in this league and in other leagues, PJ Triolo.
And we got another exciting show coming up tonight. We'll be breaking down the NFL games from the weekend, which were honestly very exciting once again. Preview Thursday night, and then we'll be bringing on some familiar voices, Mike and Josh, back on the show, as well as Vinny, coach of Zan Newton, will make his debut on the show, as well as Brian, the coach of the infamous Euclid Daddies.
Oh, yeah. It's a Explain Fantasy to Brian episode, so he's got some questions. We've got some answers.
Yeah, Brian's coming on the show. He's got a list. He's new to the fantasy game, as we've talked about, which is shown in his record. And so after we break down our league matchups, he'll be coming in with some questions. We'll see what he asks. And then finally, we'll share our power rankings with them and get their take, which should be fun.
It's a big old wet show for you this fine Tuesday evening / Wednesday morning / whatever, whenever you choose to listen to this, if you choose to listen to this at all.
Future PJ in 2025, reminiscing on the early episodes.
Yes. Once we were huge, once we have had Tebow on, and he's like our third co-host.
Yeah. Once Tebow's the only addition that's needed for this to really pop.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's just
get right into it.
Dunk our heads right under in Texans versus Jags.
Oh, yeah. DJ Chark decided to finally be a papa. And I made a last-minute substitution where I threw in. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna trust Jake Luton, and I'm gonna trust him. I'm gonna trust him to get the ball to a one DJ Chark, and you know what? He did. It paid off big. 7 receptions, 146 yards, 1 touchdown.
Who'd you take out to put him in?
Emmanuel Sanders. I just figured Michael Thomas is back. He's not going to be, like, the main dude. And, like, you know.
He didn't do bad.
It was a risk. Yeah, he got 10.
Proved a good play, though, in the end, for sure.
Yeah, very good. Very nice.
Yeah, he had 7 catches, 149 yards for a touchdown. So, I mean, he might be a dad after all, but it's just nice to see this after a long hiatus.
Yeah, I don't know if it was injuries or just not being fully there or just, not having Jake Luton thrown to him.
I feel like
he's got some chemistry issues.
I feel like Minshew was using up a lot of the team cum.
Yeah.
And, a young Jake Luton, very fertile, comes in, and he's got a lot of new cum that they hadn't seen in a while. So Chark feasted. These defenses were also electrically bad, so there were plenty of fantasy points to go around. I'd like to know Will Fuller's 6 straight games with TDs now. He had a 70-yard touchdown in this one, finished with about 21 points in fantasy. So I'm not tagging him with the dad status yet, but I'm waiting for if he can string together 1 or 2 Will Fuller type games, the ones where he hits 45 points, like. Then he can enter dad status. Right now, he's just a solid half dad.
Solid half dad. Is he more of a dad than Brandon Cooks in your mind?
I would say yes, because Cooks snagged the 1 deep TD, but it kept him relevant. But other than that, he didn't really do much. So I'll be starting him in a 12-man league I'm in, but I like Fuller more. I'd say for sure.
Yeah, They both have pretty good matchups coming up this week against the one and only Cleveland Browns with their beautiful, god-awful secondary. So, look for big weeks from them. Yeah, other than that, the usual fantasy dads on this. I mean, James Robinson produced. It wasn't like his 30-point week, but 25 carries, 99 yards, and a touchdown is like solid.
Yeah, that from James Robinson. He's just been a season-making player. If you'd been able to pick him up, because he's been a dad without
or a great
question.
trade piece.
Great trade piece too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, other than that, I mean, Duke Johnson looked like booty. David Johnson looked like even more like booty. So
it was another thing, as we've talked about on the show before, how Watson just will grind out fantasy points for you no matter what. It was a bad game for him in terms of just playing football. It was 19 of 32, so 19 completions, only 281 yards, 2 touchdowns. So it wasn't necessarily spectacular, but it was enough to give 24 points in fantasy when you tacked on his 50 yards of rushing.
Extra, that's another 5 points right there. That's prime real estate.
Before that, it's just a 19-point game where it's just like, yeah, solid outing, I guess. But he adds those 50 rushing yards, and he almost had a TD where he almost cleared one of the defenders, which would have been crazy. But, I'm pleased with him, even though the Texans suck.
Yeah, I hope they suck more, especially next week. But, whatever. We're past that.
We'll talk about
another
that
episode
later.
Yes.
Another night.
Another eve. Another tale for another day. All right. Moving on to the good old NFC East, our favorite division. The Maction of the NFL. We got the New York Giants versus the Washington Football Team.
Another classic, absolutely.
Another nail-biter that didn't have to be a nail-biter.
At all.
Really should have ended up with both teams losing, but I mean, it's not really possible, but it should be possible. They should just award L's to both. Like, when two NFC East teams play each other, they should just get an L.
Yeah, unless they perform over a certain mark.
Yes. There should be a panel of judges to determine whether or not they have played football in any sense of the word.
An acceptable enough manner.
Yes.
You can only have so many turnovers, and you need to have a certain amount of yards, and a lot of the times these games don't pass those sort of qualifications.
Yeah, very true.
So, Scary Terry is a rad dad. 7 catches.
Scary Terry gave me a big scary this week.
115 yards, 1 touchdown. Love to see it.
Yeah. Hate to see it when you're playing against him and you're holding on by your asshole and very, very, very nervous.
And he catches a nice 60-yard dinker from... Was it from Smith at that point, or was it from Allen?
I think it was from Smith.
Yeah, Smith. Smith threw for 325 yards, low key.
3 touchdowns. I mean, no, 3 interceptions, 1 touchdown.
That's where it gets a little stinky.
Yeah, a little bit. Antonio Gibson had a pretty quiet week. His touchdown really saved him there. I don't know how I feel about him. I think he's if you have no one better, he's a fine running back too. But other than that,
because he's a starter,
Yeah. He should be in your lineup in case he just balls out like he did last week.
Mm-hmm. I'll be picking up J.D. McKissick in one of my leagues because I am desperate. And just for PPR's sake, he had 9 catches this past game, and I'm like, okay, maybe. I'm that desperate. It's either him or Matt Breida, and it'll come down to the wire. But I guess if Kenyon Drake comes back, I won't have to worry about it. That's my current situation. But yeah, not happy.
Yeah, that's a rough situation right there. It definitely does not sound very, very fun. On the Lions side of the ball,
Giants side of the ball.
Yeah, not Lions, Giants, whatever. Same shitty team, basically.
Same.
Daniel
verbiage.
Jones wasn't awful, but wasn't great. Wayne Gallman kind of dadded out, but wasn't really that much of a dad.
Yeah, he looks good out there on the field.
Yeah, he passes the eye test. He just doesn't pass the fantasy test. I think just just the way the Giants are, like, I don't know.
And I think that Devonta Freeman will be back next week, so they'll go back to splitting carries, and then, like, you don't really want to start either of them anyway.
Yeah, thanks.
Unfortunately. But, hey, if you were out there starting Gallman, he got you a solid, like, 16-14 over the past 2 weeks, so there's nothing to complain about there.
Yeah.
Shepard's establishing sort of a nice floor since coming back from his injury. 11 was his lowest this week, but it was still on 6 receptions. And before that, he had 17 points and 15 points. So he's getting targeted with 6 on those games too and receptions. I would like to get him into a flex spot if it's a nice matchup against a team that you think it's going to be a high scoring game.
Yeah, very true. Very true. I mean, who else would you trust in that receiving room? Like,
I guess
Austin
Evan
Mack.
Ingram.
I mean, he's a tight end though.
Oh yeah, okay. You're just talking wide receiver position.
Yeah, just
Gotcha,
wide receiver
gotcha.
position. Like, who else do you like? Darius Slayton.
He's only good for those big plays, and Jones hasn't looked ready for those.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, Evan Ingram, he has played well. He's put up 10, 12, 15 over the last 3 games. So
Yeah.
I don't know if he's available anywhere, but he's putting up a nice little stat line.
I mean, Adam had him in one league and then dropped him, so like he might be available. There are people who do that, who give up on players and are fools, and then therefore lose fantasy games.
Mm-hmm.
Like our great commissioner.
All right, moving on to Ravens versus Colts in a controlled Ravens win. I would say it was a rough first half.
Yeah, the first half was
just
really rough.
Made the Colts a non-existent football team in the second.
Yeah, true. The big halftime adjustments. Lamar Jackson still looks like booty. 18 points is not what you expect from Lamar. They gave the ball to Gus Edwards a little too much, in my opinion, especially on the goal line. Very not pleased that he got that touchdown, not JK.
But that's the problem with that backfield.
yeah, very true. But yeah,
it was a tough D matchup too. Colts D it's a good D. So Lamar played fine for it, but with winning the MVP last year, you expect him to excel within it even. So that's why I consider it a continuous bust.
I also just love that the Colts just bring in Jacoby Brissett just for the Hail Mary pass and take him out.
just for the launch.
They know Phillip Rivers has that little noodle like that he calls an arm and just kind of can't throw it more than 5 yards. So they're just like, all right, Jacoby, go in there, and just heave it downfield. Like,
give it all you got, bud.
Yep. I mean, Jonathan Taylor got a touchdown. That's pretty nice, but still, if he doesn't get a touchdown, he's not going to get enough carries.
He had that fumble that was returned for 6 by the Ravens D. Get the Ravens D. They have an easy schedule. They're good stuff. But he had that play, and
very, very happy about that.
Yeah, and they didn't give him a touch on the ball until late in the fourth quarter. So he had gotten the touchdown prior to that and was getting the touches, but then that happened. So, I have both Wilkins and Taylor, and I have no idea what's about to go down in that backfield, and I'm trying to avoid playing him if I can.
Yeah, just flip a coin and then go with.
It needs like a week.
With what it is.
A week to see like what it really is, because this really mucked things up.
Yeah, true. Mo Alley Cox is a cool name.
Yeah.
That's what I got. Trey Burton looked really dry.
Super dry.
I feel like I wasted a waiver pick on him. I feel like he's just going to be dry.
Yeah,
but,
the Colts are just so goddamn dry right now.
Yeah,
fantasy points are just not flowing through that team.
Yeah.
Unless you have their defense. They've got the number one.
Besides their defense.
Yeah. It's the defense is the only thing.
Yeah. For the Ravens, receiving guys, Hollywood Brown looked pretty dry too.
Yeah, dry bust.
Mark Andrews also dry.
Yeah, oh my god, he's so goddamn dry, dude. Oh,
it's rough. I mean, like,
he's been laying out in the sun too long.
yeah. I don't know what's wrong with him. Like, I don't know. Is he just like not been good? Is like Hayden Hurst like his motivation?
I blame Lamar.
I also everything comes back to Lamar.
Fuck Lamar.
And with Lamar playing like booty, that everyone else plays like booty. So, whatever. Nothing much really to talk about. No big games from
I would say
really this game.
Just because Colts don't have that big time player yet, and T.Y. Hill might be injured for a little bit, like Pittman is maybe I would say worth a stash. Like if you have the bench room, just in case maybe, like all of a sudden like he kind of pops off, just because like he hasn't been back for long, and it was against the Ravens D, so you can't hold a bad game against him as his first one back. So maybe tiny stash, maybe.
You can see that. I can definitely see that.
Mm-hmm. But I think that's all that there needs to be said on that.
Very, very uninspiring game.
Mm-hmm.
Defense. If you love defense, then perfect game.
I mean, Ravens D, Colts D, like you must have been loving it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, the Detroit Lions. Now we're talking about the Lions versus the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, are the Minnesota Vikings like good?
I think they are if they have Cook. I think that's the whole. Yeah. That's the bit.
Yeah.
I mean, he's won him these past 2 weeks basically with this fucking.
He's put the team on his back, and like, I mean, Kirk Cousins throwing the ball 20 times, 13 completions for 3 touchdowns is a very, very Kirk Cousins-y stat.
Yeah. It really makes you fucking. Wish Jefferson and Thielen weren't so goddamn dry.
Yeah. I mean, if you have any of those wide receivers, like, you're probably you're scraping the bottom of the barrel, and like, they in the past they've been like dads, but like
now Cook's just cucking all the fantasy points on that team.
Yeah, they're just gonna hand the ball to Cook every single time, and he is just gonna. Like, until a defense can stop him, they're just going to keep doing it, and he's going to keep putting up 30.
I'm giving him my my honorable dad of the week. Two weeks in a row, 39 points this week.
He's gotten the dad of the week.
Dad of the week, part 2. He's the patriarch of dadism right now is the title that we're going with.
The daddy of daddies.
Exactly. The father of fathers.
The father of fathers. He might even rise above daddom and papadom and become a full-blown mommy, but like I feel like that's like the if you hit like plus 40 points 5 games in a row, that's when you can ascend. Yeah.
We'll talk. Yeah. Well, we're gonna keep it on the table. We'll see. Abdullah did steal one from him though.
Oh yeah, very true. That was
not necessarily a notable thing, but I liked that it happened.
Yeah, no, for sure. But like, I don't know, like, just the difference between Alexander Madison and Dalvin Cook is ridiculous.
It's very large.
I think Madison is like a solid running back, but like, just Dalvin Cook is on another level.
He's a dad.
Yes.
Also on the Vikings, Irv Smith is a little vulture. 2 catches, 10 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
He's just snagging up those fantasy points.
Yeah, I mean, if you start him, then good for you, but like...
Don't start him, because, like, he got 2 catches.
Yeah, I mean...
Like, all that had to happen was Cook to look anywhere else but him right then. But hey, he didn't, so... 14.9 fantasy points.
Yeah. I like how you said Cook instead of Cousins, because, like...
Oh, shit.
Because Cook is the entire team.
He's the team.
Like, Cousins is the quarterback. Yeah. On the Lions, I mean, Danny Amendola had too good of a week. I was playing him in another league.
Oof.
The guy started him at the flex instead of
That's a reach, too, just because Galladay was out. Wow. Instead of Michael Thomas, you said?
Instead of Michael Thomas.
Wow.
I don't know if he forgot to set his lineup or just, like, didn't trust Michael Thomas coming back, but, like,
I feel the not trusting him, but like
Yeah.
I don't feel the liking Amendola so much over him.
Yeah. But the 14 points was a little too much for that. I didn't really like that.
I wanted to note fantasy wise for the Lions, T.J. Hawkinson, Marvin Jones Jr., Amendola, respectively got 14.9, 13.3, 14.9. So you can't really complain about much. It's very, very solid outings from all of them. You know, not really any boom, not really any bust.
Yeah. R.I.P. Also, R.I.P. Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
Did he have the Rona and then he like didn't have the Rona and then he came back and got a concussion?
Yeah, he got Rona'd and then concussed.
Yeah.
With like
that's how life goes.
24 hours in between.
Yeah. Brian's Curry Johnson big brain start, didn't really pay off much.
Yeah, he got four carries. Adrian Peterson got 8, and my boy Swift got 13. So
hey,
he takes the lead.
He's in there. You just gotta see that consistently.
Yeah, and I don't see it yet, but I will be starting him next week for sure in a league where Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been a bust and is on bye next week. So who gives a fuck?
Rip. Yeah. Final note: Quintez Cephas is a sick name.
Oh shit!
I'm just noting that.
I didn't catch that one on Sunday. Let's go.
Yeah. He had two catches for 31 yards. Not fantasy relevant at all, but sick name. I'm gonna make a power rankings of my favorite names.
I think that's and like keep it updated. Like
Yeah. Yeah. Right now, Quintez Cephas is number 1. Mo Alley Cox is up there, too.
Bleedy Ray Wilson.
Bleedy Ray Wilson, yeah. I mean, there's some phenomenal names.
Ross Dwelly. Ben DiNucci's, I'm sure, on there. We're forming it right now, so it's a live stream. All right, moving on then to Bears versus Titans. Bears offense, very, very, very unimpressive. Foles is just
dry.
not good.
Yeah. I mean, should they go back to Mitch?
I think it'd be more fun for me, so yes.
Yeah. Allen Robinson, like, no touchdown, but 7 catches, 81 yards.
Just a solid dad.
A solid dad. Like,
if he was
day
on
in, day out,
a halfway decent offense, he'd be just unstoppable.
Yeah. Very true, very true. Corey Davis not getting any catches, putting up a big old goose egg. Not a big fan of that, but I mean, I feel like him and AJ Brown are just gonna kind of seesaw every week. And one week AJ Brown's gonna be a dad, which he was this week, and then the next week it's gonna be Corey Davis to go off for like 30 points, and then they're just not gonna. You just gotta get the pattern down.
Exactly. But if you have AJ Brown, you can just start him regardless, because when Corey Davis does become the dad, he still puts up a touchdown and a few catches. 5 straight games with touchdowns since coming back from injury. 20 points today. Was very excited. But yeah, I feel you. It's more of a read on Davis, I would say.
Yeah.
And I would say because AJ Brown outplayed this week, there is that teeter-totter where it should be Davis next week. And the goose egg is scary, but I still like him.
I mean, I'm not playing it. I'm not gonna not start him. Like, I'm still starting him next week. 100%.
It is the Colts defense also, but we'll talk about that. We'll preview Thursday night.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah. Very true.
Let's see what else we got here. Henry had an off day.
Yeah.
It was a good Bears D, so.
Yeah. Fair point. They didn't really need him. Anthony Fixer? Anthony Firkser. Oh, okay, that's not as cool. I thought it was like Fister.
No.
I was gonna say
it doesn't roll off the tongue. It's just a Firkser.
Yeah. I mean, nothing else. I don't really have anything else on this week, besides the Bears just looking like booty.
I got some stuff here with Jonnu. He snuck back into the conversation with the late TD in terms of fantasy. I don't feel any better after it. I want to see him more involved in the game before I feel good about starting him, but I think I'm going to go Mike Gesicki over him next week.
Mike Gesicki low-key looked pretty good, and Tua was targeting him a lot. But we'll get to that game later.
Yeah, of course.
You know?
Montgomery
I think
is a human garbage can. Very untalented back. He was having that solid 11 floor, 13 ceiling, which I was about, and then I played him this week in 2 leagues, and he goes for the 5.6. So he's dead to me. Jimmy Graham stays relevant with the garbage time TD as well. 17 fantasy points. Very intriguing to see that on this Bears offense. Miller and Mooney got six catches, 5 catches apiece, so they're involved in the offense.
I still don't trust anyone not named Allen Robinson to do well on the Bears.
Yeah, until they figure out what's going on there. It's a scary situation.
Yeah. I don't know if it's Matt Nagy or if it's just Nick Foles. Whoa, that was a burp. But yeah, I mean, Jonnu Smith, I feel like he's gone down multiple tiers of tight ends over the past 3 weeks. He's consistently just dropped and dropped and dropped.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very happy that I'm not relying on him as my tight end.
But hey, I hope he can turn it around. But we'll talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, hopeful. Gotta be hopeful. Always gotta hope.
Yeah. I think we're good to move on to.
Panthers Chiefs. This was an electric game.
Yeah, well fought. Almost out of him.
McCaffrey's back. McCaffrey had a McCaffrey day.
Yeah, he reminded everyone who's their daddy.
Yeah. 37 fantasy points.
Welcome back.
18 carries, 69 yards, and a touchdown. And then 10 catches, 82 yards, and a touchdown. You had Cook as your dad of the week. I have McCaffrey as my dad of the week.
Hey, I respect it. I respect the hell out of it. Because the Chiefs' defense is a lot better than the Lions' defense.
Yeah.
But hey, we also get to say see you later to McCaffrey for another week.
Yeah. That was a huge moment. I think it was Monday morning. I got the notification when I woke up. It said Christian McCaffrey has injured his shoulder and is doubtful for Week 10. And then about 5-10 minutes later, I got another notification that said Nick Chubb is designated to return from the IR, and the Brown is expected to practice this week. So I'm that trade that I made with our good friend Josh
just keeps looking better and better.
Yeah, looking real nice right now. I'm very, very, very pleased with that. Other notes from this game.
Teddy was wetty. 28.3.
Teddy was wetty.
Rushing touchdown.
Yeah, Curtis Samuel, low-key, looking like a dad.
Yeah, he's a dad. In my book, he's a dad. Congratulations. Welcome to the club, Curtis.
This is the third week in a row, or second week in a row that DJ Moore has looked dry, though.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, normally I would trust DJ Moore just to be more consistent, but, I mean, now that they have Robbie Anderson and Curtis Samuel is just deciding to be a less talented Taysom Hill, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that receiving core, they got it going on. DJ Moore is the bust of it all, for sure.
Yeah.
But, like we said, hopefully it's just kind of a pattern. Curtis will have about 2 more weeks, and then it'll become DJ's time to start blowing up. But, hey, Clyde and Le'Veon, they can just fuck off.
Dry.
Clyde had 5 catches and 3 carries. Le'Veon had 4 catches and 1 carry. The Clyde TD will try to trick you that he's a relevant fantasy play right now, but he is not. That was a fake touchdown.
If you, remember that the Chiefs ran the ball a total of 12 times.
Remember that. And they have two great running backs.
2 of those were Patrick Mahomes, and 1 of those was Tyreek Hill on an end around. So,
so there was 9 carries to split between Clyde and Bell.
Clyde got 5, Le'Veon got 4.
Very notable.
They just don't like running. Like Andy Reid just doesn't like to do it. Like they know they have Pat Mahomes and that he can just tear apart a defense.
Mahomes could shit his pants and throw 4 touchdowns. He's God. He's a god. He is a god amongst men.
I don't like Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill both having huge daddy days.
Yeah, big dick on both of them this week.
That was very, very stressful. Made my asshole very clenched up. For
let me remind you, Kelce had 10 catches for 159 yards, and Hill had 9 catches for 113 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yes, it was very like the fact that Mike has both of them on his team, and they both did that.
And you still won.
And I still won.
So that just goes to show.
Very good.
That'll be a fun recap later.
Yeah.
All right, bouncing right along to Seahawks versus Bills. Big win for the Bills. Seahawks looked very beatable in this game.
Yeah, no, their defense looks like absolute shit.
Yeah, worse than the Falcons, thank God.
Yeah. DJ Dallas getting that bullshit touchdown. Huge spot start instead of, I don't know who I started him instead of, but he got 11 points.
He was not as sexy as last week, but 11.9 is fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Josh Allen deciding to be a dad.
Yeah, confirmed real dad. We were questioning, confirmed real.
He's back. He can, like, sling it around. 4 total touchdowns, 3 passing, 1 rushing. I think it was 1 rushing. I mean, I thought he got 1. Oh, yes, he did.
Yeah, no, he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Moss overtakes Singletary. Oh, wait, sorry, did you have something else on Allen?
Yeah. No, I mean, Moss over Singletary. Singletary did get 3 catches. He outscored both of my running backs this week.
Really?
Yeah. I think he got 9. Or wait, no. Did he get 9? Let me see.
No, Moss got 9 carries. Singletary got 2 carries. Oh, you're talking fantasy points. Got you.
Yeah, fantasy points wise, he got 6.4. And that was more than both James Conner and J.K. Dobbins. So, whatever. It's a bad week for running backs, but...
definitely a bad week, but it's nice to see Moss slowly but surely kind of filling in that role. This wasn't the best game for rushing either. They were just tearing him apart with Josh Allen's arm, so... You can expect to see more usage out of Moss next week, I'd say. Diggs is dad's.
Diggs is dad's.
For sure. John Brown got 10 over 10 fantasy points for the first time since week 2. Fun fact.
Huge.
So
big for John Brown owners.
Yeah, huge for them.
Not a big fan of Gabriel Davis, Isaiah McKenzie, and Kevin Tyler all stealing the touchdowns from both John Brown and Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, that was kind of insane.
As long as Josh Allen is the one throwing to them, I'm very pleased. Him and Devontae are the reason that I'm happy this week and not wanting to shoot everyone.
I'm in the other category.
Yes.
Metcalf dads, definitely the best wide receiver on the team. And of course, Lockett suffers because of Metcalf's dads.
Yeah. Is it time to throw David Moore in the flex?
I had that here too. I said David Moore could be a flex play in a desperate situation. If you're like shit, like I'm got a few guys on bye. Like, what's something exciting? It's like Seahawks offense. David Moore, he got 4 catches, 71 yards, and a touchdown. And he's had a few touchdowns too.
Yeah.
He's definitely an interesting look. That's a no cap right there.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, defenses are going to key in on
on DK, and then Tyler Lockett, and then everyone forgets about David Moore. So, like,
He
know,
sneaks
why
a few
not?
catches
Like,
in there. Russ is that good. He'll cook. He'll cook for everyone.
Yeah,
if they want to
Russell
eat,
cook.
Russell cook.
Even though he didn't really cook as much as he's been cooking.
Well, he
cooked.
cooked, but like he was just dropping all the cooking materials the whole time.
Yes. So he was cooking, and then he spilled like salt into whatever.
He fucked up the recipe
too
a few
salty.
times.
Yeah. He had to rebake it 3 times. But, whatever. I mean, Russ is still cooking. If you got Russ in your lineup, you're happy. And there's nothing else you can really say about that.
Exactly. Jumping along to my beautiful, wonderful 3-6 Falcons. Falcons versus Broncos.
Future Super Bowl champions.
Absolutely. That's one of many wins to come. Locke almost did it again this week, coming back like he did against the Chargers. Falcons almost blew it, but the defense saved it with a nice turnover grab in the final minutes, as they did against the Panthers. I'm a happy boy.
Yeah, your run defense was legit. You were telling me that last week, and I was like, I don't know, Melvin Gordon. I like his matchup, and then you're like, no, don't do that.
Don't do it,
Falcons
baby.
are good, and lo and behold, Melvin Gordon, 6 carries, 18 yards. Philip Lindsay, 8 carries, 23 yards. Like,
just
that's
boys.
some legit shit.
Just boys.
Yeah, full boys. I think Jerry Jeudy is a young dad.
Yep, Jerry Jeudy is a young dad.
I think if you have him, you should start him.
7 catches, 125 yards, and a touchdown. It's his first big pop-off game. Previously had 14. This game, that was his previous biggest game. This one, 25.5.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about this young man. I wish I had him. I wish I had him.
A very, very wet dad. Potential, not wet yet, but potential to be a wet dad in the very near future.
Absolute young dad, for sure.
Yeah, young papa.
Locke throws up 29 fantasy points, just casually. So, if you're looking for a flyer at QB and you like his matchup, he's he can put it up on you sometimes. It's the Atlanta team, but if you find that matchup, still give him a shot. That's a lot of points.
Yeah. Matt Ryan with a respectable 26 fantasy points.
Mm-hmm.
Good for a bye week replacement for Joe Burrow in one of my leagues, but can't complain about that. I'm not starting him again.
Hurst, I think, will continue to get targeted like he was this game, even with Ridley coming back. They have the bye next week, but come that time, Ridley will definitely be back. But I think Hurst is just going to start being a lot more involved in the offense. I'm very excited about him as a fantasy player. Just the way I've seen the Falcons running it. Trade for him if you're interested. But I'm not here to give advice.
Very, very excited. Yeah, never take our advice. We don't know what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And we would never tell you what to do because that is bad.
And if you listen to us, if you listen to what we're saying, you're just dumb. That's the fact.
Yeah, I'm talking to you, Brian. You're dumb.
And the one random guy who clicked on this on YouTube, and there's our one viewer that's outside
Let's
league.
go.
Welcome.
Welcome. Hi. Say hello.
Gurley continues to get touchdowns, reliable AF for whatever reason.
Yeah, I mean, he's got that touchdown incentive. He can he just can't not score touchdowns.
He's 13 on the season, I think. I think he reached his incentive mark for the bonus that he was looking for.
So technically he didn't have to score that one on purpose.
Yeah, he still had plenty of time. But
he could have been fine.
There is a chance he just stops getting touchdowns now that he has the money. I can't say that's true, but it's something to put on the table that we're gonna look at for sure.
What's your thoughts on Olamide Zacchaeus?
I like him. He's a fun guy. Of course, I say don't give him a look if Ridley and Julio are playing. But as you can see, it looks like because then he still has Russell Gage in front of him, so he really won't be on the field. But it seems like when he does get on the field, Matt Ryan really likes him, and he's really fast and really good. Honestly, kind of looks like Tyreek Hill. What am I going to say? Off-brand Tyreek Hill is what I'm going to give him.
All right. I mean, I'll take it. I mean, it's worth noting. You know better than I do about these fellas here on the football team known as the Falcons. But yeah, Julio had a solid week. Yeah, without Calvin there. I mean, if you want to like,
he had that nasty post route where he just left the guy in the dust. It was like when the touchdown happened, I was like, oh shit, like he was wide open, and then you just see him put like the tiniest move, and like the guy was just like not anywhere near.
Yeah.
It just went the wrong way.
No, he's a dad for sure.
Absolutely, love the boy.
Love the man. Anything else on either team?
Nah, I think we're chilling.
All right, let's move on to the Raiders and the Chargers.
Heartbreak Herbert.
Yeah, poor Justin. I'm sorry. That sucks for you.
Fantasy-wise, you're still doing great though, bud. So don't get too down on yourself.
You're bringing Jake a lot of wins.
His floor's looking like 20, which is hype. And he's one. I'm so far into this kid that one massive game, another 38-point game, and I'm ready to give him the title of dad. So that's where I'm at on this guy.
Yeah, no, he's looking very, very good. He's passing the eye test.
Mm-hmm.
Also, shout out Mike for saying Keenan Allen is the most overrated wide receiver in the league. Because he just went and dropped 25 points on you, so get fucked.
Let me tell you a law real quick. Allen will dad with Herbert. That's for at least two to three more fantasy seasons. Like, Allen will be dadding with Herbert. They have an amazing connection, and Allen is a dad. So, like, shit's just going to just be electric. 9 catches, 103 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah. And that's what Allen's been doing every week. It's always, like, 20 points, 25 points. Like, games like that. Like, he's a very, like, surprisingly consistent pop-up.
And we've seen in seasons past that those blow-up games, they're just waiting to happen. They're on the cusp every game.
Besides week 1 where Tyrod Taylor was throwing. But with Herbert in, like 30, 14, 10, 22, 21, 25. After the bye, he hasn't been below 20 points, and that is beautiful. But yeah, I mean,
Ballage. I wanted to note. Sorry, Kalen Ballage was used a lot in this game. Of course, he was going to be back for I think when is it? Another 2 weeks? Yeah, actually, no. Wait. I remember reading they said he was going to be out for actually a little bit more. So Ballage was getting some usage. Jackson was injured early, which probably led to that. So I don't know. It's just something to look at. Chargers backfield's always interesting.
Yeah, interesting to see if they go with Kelly or Ballage going forward. Could be very, very...
Ballage put up 16.4, so that's a pretty solid fantasy day.
Yeah, and I mean, all the big fantasy days were on the Chargers side, which is kind of surprising. I mean, Josh Jacobs had a solid week, but...
Yeah, he was limited from his injury a little bit on touches, I could tell. The sick touchdown, though, that was a crazy touchdown. It saved his day fantasy-wise. Still a bust overall, but it was a sick touchdown.
Yeah.
If you remember, when he was just reaching for the pylon.
Yeah, I mean, they spread it around so much on offense that, like, I don't know if you want, like, you can't really trust Aguilar or like, even, like, Ruggs. Like, Ruggs had no catches.
Yeah, Ruggs is a no-go, and Carr had 13 completions on the game. So
yeah,
and like they're gonna go to Waller most of the time there, because you obviously still feel great about starting Waller. So it's like the wide receiving core. You hoped Ruggs would maybe and then he goose eggs. So, or I guess 10 rushing yards, 1 points.
Yeah, true, very true. But Derek Carr looked. I mean, they just didn't have to throw it a lot.
Yeah. They could have, though.
Yeah, they definitely could have.
They love running it through Jacobs, though, but for whatever reason, it's just not turning into fantasy points galore for Jacobs, and it's because he can't find the touchdown.
Yeah. And then Devontae Booker is, like, right behind him, just kind of.
Yeah, he vultured a touchdown.
Yeah.
Not even vultured it. It was a 25-yard. It was a beauty. But Devontae Booker was getting so many goddamn touches, it was giving me a heart attack.
Yeah.
But like I said, it was because Jacobs was limited, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That definitely it cuts into Jacobs' ceiling, is just having a guy like Devontae Booker behind you. And like I wouldn't trust Devontae Booker in fantasy.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
That was a sick touchdown, but it's just like Jacobs will get 100% of the touches inside the red zone. Like you'd need Booker to make a crazy play like that. So, and then Jalen Richard is always getting the little catches. Still not really fantasy relevant, I'd say, but it's just another thing. It's just all of those are just pulling away at Jacobs' value, and it's very sad. Very sad. Moving on to the Dolphins versus the Cardinals. Tua for the dub, baby.
Yeah, Tua
both teams are great, but Tua got the dub.
Yeah, Tua's looking kind of good. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many fantasy points he had, but like, you know,
I think he had like a 19-point game.
yeah. I mean, he passed the eye test. That's all I know.
Yeah, the Dolphins don't really offensively do much for fantasy, but they won. The defense, of course, they got another touchdown, so the defense does a little something. And Preston Williams, who actually looked pretty good in this game, is going to be out with the foot injury for another few weeks. So,
Oof.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Devontae Parker got 6 catches, 64 yards. Like,
It's something for sure.
yeah, it's respectable. But you know, I mean, you could have done more. But I mean, for me, like he's maybe a wide receiver too, flex play if you need him.
Yeah.
But like he's had some games where he's looked pretty good. We'll pull up his stats real quick.
Yeah. I'll touch on Breida, because Breida will be back next week, and he should take the starting job and lead the backfield. Howard sucked, and like Howard will actually end up getting probably those goal line touches too. So things don't look good for Breida, but just wanted to note that.
Yeah. Yeah, Devontae Parker, 8, 16, 11, 21, 13, 6, 7, 12.
So it's just solid.
Yeah, that's right on average. He has that potential, but those 21 points were against the Seahawks, who with their atrocious pass defense.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, matchup. He's a matchup guy. If you see a matchup you like against a pretty shitty defense, they played the Chargers, the Broncos, and the Jets. So, like, could be a sneaky start one of those games if you're feeling up to it. And then I don't know, Mike Gesicki was targeted a couple times, caught 3 for 42. I mean, I'm rolling with him in one of my leagues just because I have no other option. But
and with the way Tua's looking, yeah, I'm gonna roll with him too.
Yeah.
Doesn't have necessarily the proven recent track record to feel great about it, but just looking at the team, they look good. So it's like, yeah, keep starting those guys. But it's kind of like they're just very mute, or not mute. They're just I don't know. There's just no boom right now for the Dolphins fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, with Preston Williams being out, that just means there's going to be more catches for Parker and more catches for Gesicki.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing how good Tua continues to.
Preston Williams wasn't getting really a lot of catches weeks prior, but he was getting a lot in this game specifically, which was the notable thing. Kyler is a god. What a dad.
Yeah.
37.92. Definite candidate for dad of the week. He was just unstoppable. Had 106 rushing yards.
Yeah, that's some wet stuff right there.
That's some wet shit.
Yeah, that's the wettest from a quarterback. Is Kyler better than Lamar?
Right now,
I low-key think that
are we talking fantasy or are we talking just NFL?
Well, I mean, fantasy-wise, it's a no-brainer. Kyler is better than Lamar.
Right.
But, NFL-wise, Kyler, as a passer, I think is better, and as a runner, might be better as well. I don't know. do we all just overrate Lamar just because he decided, like, has the league figured out how to stop Lamar? And, like, I don't know.
That's what it really could be. It really could be that. Time will tell, but, I mean, it's definitely a debate to put on the table.
Yeah, very true.
When Kyler wins an MVP, you know, maybe. No, but it's true. I do feel like maybe Lamar, the MVP season was something that, like, is stopped because defenses can figure it out now and coaches can figure it out, how to contain them.
Yeah, very true. Couple other notes from this game. Hopkins had a dry day. But Christian Kirk had a wet day.
A sizzly boy.
Yeah, very wet papa. Five catches, 123 yards, 1 touchdown. Looked really good. They're just kind of feeding him.
Yeah,
he got 5 catches, but
he's been playing superbly over the past few weeks. I have him here, a soon-to-be dad. I say one big game, like, you know, the 30-point-plus game. I'm ready to call him a dad because he's just been that good recently, putting up 23 points this week, and he's averaging, I believe, over the past 4 weeks, it was like 20 or so points he's averaging over. So it's definitely a guy to watch out for.
Yeah, definitely keep your eye out. And I mean, it's probably not gonna matter like this, like unless you trade for him. Like,
I mean, he's available in our NFL league, and I'm lower than you on the waiver wire, so I don't care that I'm telling you that.
Oh shit. Damn.
Or not lower, but like higher. But like lower because you're ahead of me in the standings.
Yes, 'cause I'm a better fantasy manager.
Yeah, okay. D-Hop will gas it up next week. I'm not necessarily too worried. He's just one of those guys, he has a quiet week, then I'll have a big week.
Yeah. I mean, he's been solid. Like, he's been a top dad every
He's been a god.
So, like,
yeah.
So, I mean, one down week is just a down week. I'm not too worried about that.
Edmonds kind of underwhelmed, I'd say, with 11 points. The game script fit him too. It was a active game. It didn't go his way. But 11 points is
25 touches was nice, and like without Drake there, like he's gonna get touches. Like if Drake is still out, then Edmonds is a start.
Oh yeah. It was just very troubling to see this. Just because 25 touches, you're like, God damn, I want more than 11 fantasy points. But it was a bad week for running backs, as we said.
Yeah. Unless your name was Dalvin Cook or Christian McCaffrey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I got on this game. Gonna move on to the Steelers and the Cowboys.
What the fuck happened there?
Yeah, that was a weird fucking game. James Conner was a little baby boy, and I've been really high on James Conner. He's been like getting a shit ton of touches, but I guess like game script, and then they kept playing Benny Snell. Kept pissing me off.
Benny Snell, they just gotta chill the fuck out with him. Like I was like too many times I was like, why is Benny Snell out there right now?
Yeah, I mean he had three carries for 1 yard. Like why do you keep playing him? He's not good. Like just give the ball to James Conner. And like James Conner wasn't good either. Again, he had like.
Yeah,
I think
he
it was like
didn't
4
look good,
points.
I guess.
Yeah.
I just don't want it to be the reality.
And, like, the thing that concerns me is that the Cowboys' defense is so fucking bad. Like, how did they do that? Like, how, like, it was like you said, like, it looks like what you said with Chase last week, where it was like, everything looks perfect, so something has to go wrong. You're just
There's always one where it's just things seem too good to be true. You're just like, this is going to be an awesome performance. I'm ready, and it's not going to be underwhelming. It's going to just be an absolute complete bust. The 4 points as case in point.
Yeah. Steelers receiving.
Smith got the TD.
But everyone else was right around the same, like 6 catches, 8 catches, 93, 77, 69.
Yeah, it was a tie other than the touchdown.
Yeah, the touchdown put it over the edge.
Let me know your thoughts on this. I have them all down as all three of them are premium half dads.
Yes, I would give him that. Claypool obviously has that huge boom potential. As we saw his 4 touchdowns.
We saw it 1 week, so the potential's there, but I don't know. Sometimes these guys just have one of those games when they're new to the league and then shit just goes cold. But
no one knows about them, and then they were like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And then it's like, "Oh, this guy is the next Megatron." It's like, I don't know if he is that. That's a lot to say about a rookie. Unless he was doing that every week. But I mean, if you have to decide who you want to start between the three of them, good luck.
Yeah, it's really just a roulette. Just give it a shot. There's no guarantees, but they're all good enough that as you can see, the floor can be this nice, where it's up around 14 points. So that's why it's you do start them, and that's why I have them as premium half dads.
Yes. So slightly above that normal half dad.
Yeah, Ben got big with 25 points, fantasy wise. Thought that was interesting. Steelers D, I had projected that they got 22 points this game, but of course, they only got 5.
It was not a great look. Both of my predictions from last week are way off. We'll get to my other one later. I had a counter over 26 points. He did not get a fifth of that, or even a sixth of that. But yeah, it wasn't great.
Zeke busts more. The Cowboys didn't look terrible. Gilbert looked halfway confident, but Zeke still busted.
Zeke busted. I mean, CD 4 catches, 71 yards and a touchdown. Solid week. Still if you need a flex play, CD is a solid option. But
he just finds a touchdown somehow.
Yeah. I mean, Amari.
Not when DiNucci's in, but.
Not when DiNucci. DiNucci just has a love affair with Michael Gallup.
Yeah, he really does. Cooper finished with 5 receptions and 67 yards also, which is nice to see. Just improvements across the board.
Yeah. I just love watching Dallas just do weird shit. This wasn't even on Amari Cooper. I know we were talking about him, but that punt return where the guy, the gunner was running down, holding his leg, pretending to be injured, and then the guy, the person who caught it, I forget who it was, but just threw it across the field to the guy pretending to be hurt the entire time, and he ran it all the way back to the 20.
Holy shit! I missed this play. This sounds insane.
It was nuts. It was a punt return, end of the first half.
Oh my gosh! I'm gonna have to YouTube that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, he was he was holding on his leg the Greg Jennings video. It was the Greg Jennings.
Yeah.
Put the whole team on my back. He was literally holding his leg, running like that. And everyone's just all right, this guy's hurt.
I like it. I like the logic behind it. I feel. Did it work? Sorry, I missed that part of the story.
Yeah, no, it worked. It worked.
Hell yeah!
He threw it across the field to him. And then no one was on that half of the field. Everyone was going to him to get the ball, and he ran it back to the 20.
Holy shit, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was just more of Dallas just trying anything to win.
Yeah.
And still not succeeding.
That's actually sick.
Is very, very entertaining to watch week in, week out. But yeah, fantasy wise, I'm not touching anyone.
Yeah, Cowboys are still kind of scary.
Yeah.
Saints versus Bucks. This game was a letdown.
Yeah.
Not if you're a Saints fan, but
Taysom looked dope.
Yeah, that's the big takeaway from this.
Yeah. Taysom going 2 for 2 for 48 yards passing.
Wow.
7 carries for 54 yards rushing. And then
Breeze's
2 receptions No, 1 reception for 21 yards receiving.
He can come at you from all angles. That's the best thing about him.
He is a better Curtis Samuel, a more talented, more dynamic. Like, Curtis Samuel hasn't thrown a pass all year. Like, Taysom Hill completes both of his passes.
Imagine having a game where you can have a player that has a passing touchdown, a receiving touchdown, and a rushing touchdown.
It can happen. There's going to be a week where it's going to happen. And
you're going to want him in your lineups those weeks.
Yeah, you're going to want him in your lineups, and we will let you know because we are Taysom Whisperers, and we will let you know when he's going to have that week. And I'm just going to say right now that it's going to be next week. So.
Yep, it's next week 100%. I think we saw Breeze's ceiling here with 22 points. I don't think I see him really putting up a game more than that going forward.
Yeah, I don't either. Kamara looked like a dad.
Yeah, it was his worst game of the year, but he had 15.9.
Yeah.
I think he's my lead for dad of the year contender. Like now, I'm loving him.
Yeah. My prediction for Gronk was way off. I predicted him over 20 points. Mm-hmm. I predicted this was going to be his breakout game. Instead, he goes and gets 1 reception for 2 yards for a solid 1.2 fantasy points. So it was way off there.
I mean, this was a 1 in a million game for Brady. It's the worst loss ever. It's the worst loss ever in his career. So this is the absolute floor that you're gonna see on this team. Fantasy wise, Mike Evans and Leonard Fournette snuck out with 10 points, but don't look too into it. It was this game was nothing like any other game they're gonna have this season. I can imagine.
They couldn't get a first. They did not have a first down like the whole first quarter. That was crazy to me. It almost made me not want to watch the game, but I had to watch the game to root against Michael Thomas.
I was rooting against Chris Godwin and Ryan Suckup, and it went well, so I was pleased. But we'll get to why I wasn't pleased later. Michael Thomas was quiet for Michael Thomas with 5 catches for 51 yards, but it was nice to see him in this game and nice to see 5 receptions. That's something.
Yeah, I'm chalking it up to just him coming back, not really being in full shape, and I'm glad I had to play Mike when that happened because now that Michael Thomas is back, I'm starting to get scared. Power rankings.
Mike's going to be making a heavy playoff run. I play him in 3 weeks, and I'm very, very scared.
True.
I'll need a miracle.
True. Yeah. Emmanuel Sanders had a touchdown, but he wasn't as good as DJ Chark, so that doesn't matter at all.
Notable, but doesn't matter.
Yep.
Jared Cook, only 2 catches, so, a little off week for him.
I don't trust him. That's that.
Yeah. He's put up plus 10 fantasy points like the 3 previous weeks before this, so it was he was snagging the touchdowns and he was getting about 3 to 5 receptions. So, but this game just kind of got away from itself. It was over in the first quarter. So,
yeah.
Jumping on to the Pats versus the Jets. The Jets almost had them. Very close.
Almost. Very close.
Cam Vulture, 2 touchdowns from the shitty Pats backfield. Shitty in terms of fantasy. But Cam still sucked also. The 2 touchdowns definitely helped him fantasy-wise, but, if that's all he can do against the Jets, then there's a lot of
concern. Everyone's like, oh, this is Cam's break. They're like, he played good instead of playing bad. He's just been so awful the past 3 weeks that 27 of 35 for 274 yards is a good week now for Cam. And
it was against the worst team in the NFL.
Yeah, exactly. The Patriots almost lost to the Jets, and
So goddamn close.
it was so close. And I'm kind of mad that they lost, that they won. But
Yeah, it would have been
also-
fun. Another notable thing for the Pats, Jacoby Myers had 12 catches for 169 yards. A solid-ass day, but like I said, it's the Jets. Cam still is very concerning, so just maybe a stash just in case things get figured out there, because that is a very, very nice little stat line.
Yeah, he looked really good out there too. Like just eye test wise, like I'm a big eye test guy. He passed the eye test with flying colors.
I feel that.
Rashad Perryman had a big old week. 5 catches, 101 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jamison Crowder fucked over Jake with 2 receptions and 26 yards and a bullshit touchdown.
But he's gotten over a 10 in every single game he's played, and he's on the Jets. So I guess he's a flex play, because that's just facts. Even if it doesn't make sense, that's just facts.
I mean, normally I just say don't trust a Jet, but like, I mean, stats don't lie, and
if he's getting over 10 every week, like what are you supposed to do?
yeah, I mean, you're not gonna just sit him, like, obviously, but like, I mean, you might just sit him just because he's a Jet.
You probably should just sit him, but if you'll play him against me, and I'll lose by 1.2 points. So
yeah, that's a tough one.
yeah, well, that game didn't also have much to it, so I think we're all wrapped up here on the NFL recap.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna move on to bringing in our wonderful guests. We'll give them a nice introduction. We've got D1 athlete Joshua Shiwitz back on the show. Introduce yourself, bud.
What's up, everybody? My name's Josh. I throw spears, and I'm owner of the Lamar Jackson Flax and Waxons, who recently forced Wet Dad Inc. into bankruptcy.
Yep, that's it. It was tough. It was not pleasant for me this week. I was in a dark place last night. All right, we got Mike Fitzgerald back on the show as well. Mike?
Yeah, returning guest. Lost, but that's okay. Still in
Recently.
Coach of the implication.
Coach of the implication that got dicked by Dan's minuscule Guido cock, you know? How does Dan's cock feel, Mike?
How's it feel, Mike?
It tasted a lot more like Devontae Adams and Josh Allen, but,
Yeah.
didn't enjoy
Very
it
fair.
either way.
Very fair.
Making their
beautiful.
debut on the show this week is Vinny, coach of Zam Newton. Vinny, you can introduce yourself.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? Excited to be on the show this week.
Love that. I love having you. And finally, coach of the infamous Euclid Daddies, Brian Fitzgerald. Brian, we're happy to have you here.
What's up? I know no one on my team.
So we're gonna go ahead and start off with.
That's a great segue, yeah.
Yeah, Brian is got some questions for us. So this is Brian's first year doing fantasy, and he's figuring things out. So he's gonna ask us professionals some questions. We're gonna see if we can help him out.
Yeah, first question. I actually don't know my team at all. Josh offered me a trade, and he asked for a player and offered to give a player, and I didn't know either player. So can someone just describe my
Don't
team?
accept any.
All right,
trades
we
from
gotta
Josh.
pull up Brian's team. Someone pull him up and start describing the team. To him.
All right. So your QB is Matt
Below
Ryan.
average.
Matt Ryan, he's not a good QB,
But he's not bad.
He's a solid. Yeah, he's not bad.
He's more
definitely
of a
not bad.
backup in fantasy, I would say.
Yes. QB of the Atlanta Falcons.
Brian, you do not have a single top 10 player at their position on your team.
Mike,
He
knows
listen to me real- I'm 1-8.
No,
Like,
that's
what
not
do you
true.
want
That's
from
not
me?
true. He
Here's
is.
Mark Andrews.
Yeah, exactly.
Mark
He's
Andrews.
Yeah.
I stand corrected.
Yeah, so-
That's who I tried to get in the trade.
That would have been awful. I would. No one should trade with Brian.
Brian,
Don't accept any trades.
Mark Andrews is very good, so you know. He's not playing well currently, but he is he's your best player.
Okay, good to
Yes. Your your running back one is Melvin Gordon, who
Below
is not
average.
not that great. I mean, there's hype for him. He moved teams this year, but he has not done well in Denver. Yeah, you might look. He's a running back 2 flex at best. Yeah, you're running back
This is
2
a great
though.
segue into the second question. What is a flex?
Mike, take the lead on this.
Okay, so the flex is kind of a magical spot. Gives you a lot of flexibility. So where the name
Ooh.
flex comes from, okay? You can play either a running back, a wide receiver, or a tight end in the flex position.
That's why they're hype, Bri.
Yeah,
I like the condescension you added to that, Mike.
Josh, can you break down Kerryon Johnson as his RB2 for him?
Yeah, let me start by saying why. Brian, you have started Kerryon Johnson all year religiously, and I just want you to look at his point totals, and then I have nothing else to offer.
Position rank is 61.
Hell yeah, dude. Oh, he's got an average of 4.9.
that's
Yeah.
not very.
4.9's awful.
Yeah. You can see the fantasy app is really cool because you can click on the player and it gives you a little spiel about them that you can read.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
should really trade this guy.
No, drop him.
I don't
Drop
want
him.
him. Yeah, play
Can
the
I-
waivers.
Can
A
I get
lot.
Vinny's take on Brian's wide receiving core? Because I just took a look at it, like bench and who he has starting, and it's I don't know. I thought it was interesting. Vinny,
Vinny left.
Vinny's
Sorry about
gone.
that, guys. I don't know what happened. Yeah, so the wide receiving core.
Yeah.
Could be worse. Could be worse.
Yeah, no, this is your best position group by far.
Yeah.
Tyler
Hell
Boyd.
yeah.
Tyler Boyd's very good.
Yeah,
He's
Tyler
got a
Boyd
solid
should be.
wide receiver group.
He should be starting, Brian.
Beat a buy.
Okay, this is.
Okay.
Yeah, he had a. I was starting him.
All right, what's your other question, Bri?
I have so many other questions.
Hit us.
Thank you for asking. Like, okay, I got what is a flex? I got that one.
That one's checked off.
I feel like I know a little bit better about my team. I really just want to know how to beat Ed. Like, I don't know when I'm playing Ed next, but I just want to beat Ed.
Okay, all right. Let's check the schedule.
You're gonna want to pray.
Is Ed good? I thought Ed would be terrible. Like, I just assumed.
Ed's pretty
Ed's,
good. I'd
Ed's
say.
not bad.
Ed's top 5 in my book.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement there.
You play Ed.
Actually, no, I haven't.
I'm taking a look. Yeah, you play Ed this week, Bri. Or yeah.
Okay, perfect timing. How do I have a chance? Like, maybe I lose, but like, how do I have a shot?
All right, one.
Like, if he can tremble, I'm winning.
You're not close right now.
Drop Kerryon Johnson.
Okay.
Put Tyler Boyd
Yo,
in
wait,
the
wait,
flex.
Brian.
Tyler Boyd in the flex.
Put mad waiver claims in because you're definitely first on the waiver order and you can pick people up.
Just
today.
find
Okay,
a running
I
back.
don't know how that works.
Listen,
so-
Brian, just a rule of thumb. I'm not sure who it is right now specifically, but just go to, if you go on the app, go where it says players. Go to running back. Just whoever's first there, just give them an ad and put them there. It'll be an immediate upgrade.
Darnell Henderson.
There. He's good. That's a ripe pick.
Better than
added
Kerryon.
him, Added him. Done. Who do I drop for him?
Kerryon Johnson.
He's really that bad?
Yeah.
Yo, if no one listens to this podcast besides Kerryon Johnson, I'll be
Okay, done.
All right, what do you got? What are some other questions? I think that's a good ad for beating Ed. Put Tyler Boyd in the
That's
flex.
it for beating Ed?
I mean, there's not much you can do. I think
Next
you got to
pick.
just put your best lineup out there. I guess Matt Ryan's on bye. Let's check the QBs out there
Yeah, you need a new QB.
for sure.
Got Stafford, he's not bad.
Might be injured though. That's on the table. I think.
It's true.
Give you a little hot tip. Derek Carr will soon be on the waivers if you want him.
No, don't do that one, bro. Maybe Teddy Bridgewater. Maybe Tua.
Ooh,
That would be
Tua.
would be kind of exciting.
Jake, I'm counting last minute things for you when you get here on Friday. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just gonna be like, fix me. Like,
Oh yeah, I can help you out then too.
Carson Wentz.
What do you guys like for Brian's QB here?
Golf.
Goff.
Oh yeah, golf against the Seahawks. It's a solid.
That is a nice little matchup.
Yeah,
I like Teddy,
I kind
too.
of like Teddy or Tua. I think Tua is exciting. Like, I like to see Brian rock Tua, and he turns into a monster.
yeah, I'm cool with that.
If you're looking for a new starter, one of those guys. But if you're looking to just fill in for Matt Ryan for 1 week, Goff could be your dude against the Seahawks. That would be a good little matchup.
All right, so there's Bridgewater, Goff. Who else?
To Tiger Vailoa.
All right, what's your next question, Bri?
Yeah, how the fuck do you get negative points in fantasy? 'Cause I got a negative defense and it kind of fucked me up for a week.
Josh, you want to take that one?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So defense is the only position in fantasy where they start with points and then they gradually lose points. I mean, they can gain
For the
points.
most part.
Yeah, they can gain points through interceptions or touchdowns, but the amount of points a team scores against them, their score is going to start subtracting. So you don't want to play a defense that's playing a really good team.
Because they'll give up a lot of points.
Okay, cool. I have not played a negative defense yet, but I saw that and was concerned. Okay. Another question. So if I let's say Matt Ryan, for some reason, he gets a little bit of balls. He gets into a full-on fist fight during a game.
Right.
If he wins, do I get extra points? Does that count? Like, how does that work?
No.
Like, what?
It's not. Yeah, I mean, I wish there was a stat for like fights and fights won. Like that would be a game changer, but that's just not gonna happen. I'm sorry. The app is different. It doesn't agree.
We'll talk
It's
to
just
Adam
based on-
about putting it in next year.
Yeah, next year as the commissioner, I just want to know if I can gain any other points besides just like playing well.
I mean, that's how you gain points normally.
Are you asking for extra credit? Is that what
Yes. You know the kid who like never turned in a homework assignment and like failed every test and then showed up asking for extra credit? That's me with fantasy. Like that's how I'm kind of operating right now.
Got you. All right, what's your next question?
All right. I think that's all I got.
All right, those are some good
I just
questions.
think, like, give me luck. Like, if you're giving me just advice, like, treat me as if I don't understand anything about football, because I don't. I don't really know any of the positions. So.
So don't trade rape him, Josh.
Yeah, Josh.
I know it's tempting, bud.
I was kind of nice. I tried to give him Miles Gaskin.
Yeah. On IR.
On IR, yeah.
Brian, one piece of advice: you're very your team overall is weak, but you're very weak at running backs. So what I would do is I would go to the waiver wire for running backs and click on each person on that waiver wire and read their stats, look at their points per game, and pick like who you want the most. Like Darrell Henderson is a solid pickup, maybe. But I mean, there's some other guys on the waiver wire who could very much help your team.
Okay.
Just something to keep
What
in
this
mind.
season's about for you, Brian, now is just stealing wins. Like your season's over, 100%.
No, I'm not making the playoffs. We're not trying to, we're trying to get a participation trophy and earn it. Like,
Got
we're
you.
not trying to win.
Got you.
Just
All
be
right.
not last.
I just don't want to play shipping. You know what I mean? Like, that's where I'm at.
All right, so we're gonna start going into the league matchups from this week. Had some pretty exciting games. Let's start off with It's a Locket That I'm Winning versus Team Haas, both not on the podcast currently, coached by Jonah Haas and Kyle Clavin. But we had predicted that Team Haas was going to win this one, and that was not the case.
Not
if
at
I
all.
believe.
Yeah. Final score 100.1 to 73. A locket that I'm winning. Starting the good old lineup of Aaron Rodgers, Zeke Elliott, JaMychal Hasty, Amari Cooper, Tyler Lockett, Darren Waller, Brandon Cooks, Chiefs defense, and Harrison Butker got the dub.
Yeah.
Over
Tom Brady,
team-
Derrick Henry,
yeah.
Ronald Jones, Julio Jones, Adam Thielen, T.J. Hawkinson, Jonathan Taylor, Cardinals D, and Brandon McManus. On paper, Jonah's team does look a lot worse post this week. Pre this week, we were kind of hype on him.
Yeah, low-key. Yeah, he still started Jonathan Taylor in the flex, even though we said not to do that. He probably shouldn't have done that, but, you know.
He didn't listen to the podcast.
He did not listen to the podcast. That's on him. Should have started Jerry Jeudy. I mean, you can say that in hindsight, but, like, I mean, I don't trust Jonathan Taylor at all.
No way, no how. That's a very scary backfield.
Yes, very true.
Judy is another reject from my team.
Oof. That you let go.
Yeah, it's people just picking up my trash left and right.
Yeah, you keep throwing away good stuff.
I have too much good stuff.
Yeah, once Jonah's team gets Raheem Mostert back, they'll definitely upgrade a bit because Ronald Jones isn't really the answer either there. But Kyle's team was just, even with Zeke and JaMychal Hasty busting, he got enough from enough guys to overcome Jonah's shit performance.
And a negative performance from the Chiefs D, and only 8 points from Tyler Lockett. I mean, nice, good job.
Yeah, Rodgers kind of led the way on Thursday night for him.
Yeah, and even like he didn't have anyone over 20 points, and he still ended up beating Jonah. But
other than
whatever.
Rodgers, but yeah, Tom Brady was, as we all saw, just absolute trash this week.
yeah, that the 2.36 points was definitely not ideal, and like going into Sunday night with Ronald Jones and Tom Brady, I'm sure Jonah was probably feeling pretty good about himself. And then that game happened, and you know, the rest is history.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he had Roethlisberger on his bench, which I'm sure he'll be looking to use coming up next week.
Also scrap from my team.
Josh says all the best trash.
Jack.
Yeah, so what, do you guys have any takes on this matchup? Nothing? You just didn't look at anything or listen to anything? You're like, yeah, no, Derrick Henry had a good game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It's
The Giants
6.8.
His team was trash.
I don't know. That Bucks loss kind of threw me for a loop. I did not expect Tom Brady to put up 2.36 points. That makes Jonah really bad. So I kind of just feel sorry.
Yeah.
Jonah
Yeah.
knew how to set a lineup. He could have won.
Yeah.
Big Ben and Jerry Jeudy would have put him over top.
I wouldn't have started Big Ben over Tom Brady.
We
though.
previewed this
I
one
wouldn't
though,
have
Mike,
either.
and you didn't say anything about those moves beforehand.
Yeah, it's easy
You got me on the
now.
record? I don't know.
I got you on the record. Pull it
Play
up.
the tape.
I did say Jonathan Taylor should not be in the flex, and he should start Jerry Jeudy or Marquise Brown.
100%. I remember. you saying
And
it.
yes, Jerry Jeudy would have been the better play of the two, but you know, if he listened to that part, I mean, I'm sure he could have been inspired. But I mean,
Kyle's bench also went off, if you take a quick look at that. 12, 22, 15, 13, 17, 13. So he really put... you couldn't have necessarily put a bad lineup out there when... Or, sorry, he could have put an absolutely better lineup out there. He basically put his worst lineup he could have out there.
yeah. Overall, underwhelming matchup in my opinion.
100%. All right, jumping on then to Brian's matchup with Adam Howard, our commissioner, Gabagool Gang versus the Euclid Daddies. 121 to 94. Adam started Kyler Murray, Dalvin Cook, Justin Jackson, Cole Beasley, Corey Davis, Jonnu Smith, Chase Claypool, Patriots D, and Michael Badgley. Brian with the wonderful lineup started Matt Ryan, Melvin Gordon, Kerryon Johnson, DJ Moore, DJ Chark, Mark Andrews, Jordan Howard, Bears D, and Chris Boswell.
Brian, any takes on this?
This is your loss, bud.
Yeah, I deserve to lose.
Did you want to?
No, you were.
Well, of course I wanted to be
for a
Adam,
while.
but I didn't really know what to do, so I just kind of like played who was in my lineup. I feel like just by the questions, people are like, "Yeah, you probably lost last week." So I don't feel like this is undeserved. I just feel like I have a lot to learn, and I'm just here to hang out. So
I mean, DJ Chark kept you competitive early on.
Yeah, I was
And
like,
it looked-
uh-oh.
It looked for a moment like you're gonna pull off, and then Justin Jackson's injury there, like, kind of gave me hope. Yeah, Justin Jackson and Corey
I was
Davis
like,
both
uh-oh.
putting up 0. Like, I was on upset alert big time this Sunday, but you ended up. I mean,
It was Kyler and Dalvin at the end of the day. They just,
yeah, you can't do much about that.
those
That's,
were two monster performances.
But Brian, you are hanging out for sure.
Yeah, 94 points, that can get you a win on the right week. 100%.
That was an improvement. Honestly, Adam made bad plays.
yeah, definitely trending in the right direction, Brian.
Yeah, and this
yeah,
puts
we're
You-
just looking for improvement, you know.
You would have beaten both Jonah and Vinny this week if you had played them. So
Hell yeah.
yeah. And Adam enters into the playoff hunt with this one too. He's deep in the heart of it. At 4 and 5.
yeah, the whole glut of teams at 4 and 5.
that.
He does not
Yeah.
deserve that.
All right. So next we'll jump on to Vinny. We'll let you take the lead on this one after we give the quick breakdown. But your loss to Eddie Wild's A Team Has No Name. Ed started Lamar Jackson, Alvin Kamara, Todd Gurley, Sterling Shepard, Curtis Samuel, Evan Ingram, Antonio Gibson, the Colts D, and Younghoe Koo. And you started Patrick Mahomes, David Johnson, David Montgomery, Stephon Diggs, Justin Jefferson, Rob Gronkowski, DeAndre Hopkins, Giants D, Justin Tucker. How do you feel about this week?
This is a horrible week. David Johnson, of course, getting knocked out early did not help. So his production was limited as is. Gronkowski, non-existent. As was the whole Bucs team. Hopkins, the Cardinals really went off on offense, and he got none of it.
Nowhere to be found.
Yeah, this is just bad luck all around. Like
Yeah.
on paper, I feel like I picked you
Yeah,
to win.
we on the podcast we predicted him to win.
Yeah, no. This wasn't my week, but we'll get him next time.
Yeah. What are you gonna do about the running back situation you got going on, buddy?
I put a couple waiver requests in, gonna ride Fournette.
Yeah, Fournette seems like
Yeah.
a play.
You want to trade me for net?
No, shut up, Josh. I think Montgomery might be out as well. So
Yeah,
maybe
that's-
Philip Lindsay, maybe one of the waiver guys. Who knows? We'll see.
Trade me
I think
Austin
he's coming
Eckler.
back soon. No, I think he's coming back soon.
Yeah, trade me him.
For what?
I don't know.
Yeah.
No defense.
A box of rocks. Mike gives garbage for trades.
Stephon Diggs has been pretty nice for you this season. You got 20 points this week. Patty Mahomes got you 30. So you got what you expected out of those guys.
Yeah, 2, maybe 3 of the players in my lineup, but yeah.
On the podcast last week, we called out DeAndre Hopkins being in the flex. We thought that was a little odd. Do you think those bad omens carried over to a bad performance?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, directly related.
You got to switch him with Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. You know what? That's actually a good point. Thanks.
Yeah.
Mike just saved Vinny's team.
Glad I can help. Oh, fuck. I think we're playing this week.
Bad move.
That's your fault.
Uh,
Thank you.
Ed's now played Curtis Samuel back-to-back weeks, and boy, has that paid off for him. That's that's a big thing to note. It was his
Bold
top
move.
scorer with 26.8.
And that
Yeah,
was
I mean-
with McCaffrey coming back.
Mm-hmm. It was a bold play. I don't know how much logic went into it, but hell, it worked. So.
I mean, he didn't really have many other options.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a bunch of people on bye.
Brandon Ayuk was injured.
Yeah.
COVID.
I mean,
COVID. He was Rona'd.
he did get Rona'd.
He was infecting my team. I had to drop.
Yeah, Ed's team just really played. They just played. There was like no boom other than Curtis Samuel. They were just like dead solid across the board, and you end up with 132 points. Like I don't even know. Like that's pretty impressive. That's manager of the year worthy stuff right there.
Yeah. I mean, even though he didn't really have much choice on many of these picks, but I mean, you got to do what you got to do, and Ed did what he had to do, and he just Edded. He was a whole Ed boy.
Mm-hmm. All right.
A full-on Ed boy.
Next, we'll jump on over to my least favorite game of the week. Lamar Jackson, Flax and Waxons taking the dub with 135.8. Wet Dads Inc. is bankrupt with 134.64.
Notable name change.
Yeah. PJ, you want to read this one off? I can't do it.
Yeah, so we had a very, very close game with a final score of 135.8 to 134.64. So for Wet Dads Inc., formerly welcome to Wet Dads Inc., we had Deshaun Watson, Josh Jacobs, DJ Dallas, Allen Robinson, A.J. Brown, Noah Fant, Will Fuller, Ravens defense, and Will Lutz against the Lamar Jackson Flax and Waxons, starting Russell Wilson, James Robinson, Christian McCaffrey, DK Metcalf, Chris Godwin, Eric Ebron, Jamison Crowder, Washington defense, and Ryan Succo. This is rough for you, Jake, because you had a opportunity to make a statement win.
Yep.
Statement win, sweep the series against Josh, and then Jamison Crowder got 2 catches.
One of them being a fucking touchdown. I went into, so there was Sunday night prime time, and then there was Monday night prime time. And he had Chris Godwin, Ryan Suckup, and Jamison Crowder. And I had Will Lutz and a 13-point lead. And after the game that was the Bucks versus the Saints, I was like, all right, maybe. I was like texting Josh. I'm like, what can I do for you to take Chris Godwin out? And then Jamison Crowder just snakes it out with that fucking touchdown catch. I was so pissed.
Yeah, I mean, Josh obviously had McCaffrey, even though he is hurt and will probably be out for another 3 weeks. Get fucked, Josh. Probably not 3 weeks.
We'll know tomorrow.
Josh, how do you feel about the win? I need to hear your perspective of it. If you don't get joy, why am I suffering? You know what I mean?
That's why I was sitting in silence. I just wanted you to suffer more. Just soak it up. Yeah, man, that was disappointing for you. Like, I almost felt bad.
Were you sweating?
I didn't.
I must have had you
deserve to
sweating.
You did have me sweating. Going into Monday night, especially like halftime at Monday night, I just didn't think I was going to win. I turned off my phone, and then I saw the Jamison Crowder touchdown on the ticker. And then I saw a text from you, and I was like, I know it. I did it.
How do you think I feel when Christian McCaffrey's been out the whole goddamn season, and he comes back, puts up 37, then gets injured, and he's gonna like,
He
I'm
knew.
like,
I
come
called
on.
him. I called him up, and I was like, I need you.
You called him in for this week. A revenge game. It's your one loss, you know?
It's worth noting that Jake did beat Josh, gave Josh his only loss on like 0.1 points because of a kicker.
Yeah, me and Josh have had some wild matchups.
I think it was only fair that Josh wins by like 1 point.
1-6.
1-6. 1.1. Yeah.
Especially after I didn't heed Jake's warning, and I probably should have started Robbie Anderson.
But it ended up paying off just the tiniest bit enough. It takes me out of, not out of playoff contention, but puts me in a bad spot. I'm in the same spot as Mikey Boy over there. I'll use that to transition into your guys' matchup here. I saved it for last. I would say it's the.
Wait, Jake.
Yeah.
Jake.
Oh yeah.
How does benching Clyde, who if you started you over DJ Dallas, I think you would have won.
I would have had an
How does
extra
that feel?
0.5 points. No. So this was actually interesting. I had all these running backs to choose from. DJ Dallas, Clyde, DeAndre Swift, Damian Harris, Zach Moss. And they all respectively got 11.9, 12.4, 12.7, 7.1, 12.8. So other than Damian Harris falling off, they were all within a point of each other. So the best I could have done was Zach Moss. And that still would have put me 0.26 short.
Or Juju.
Yeah, but, what was I going to do? Start him over Allen, AJ, or Will Fuller?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's fair. My math was all off. I thought you lost by like 0.2, but it was 1.2. So I'm sorry. 0.8, whatever. Wait,
it's 1.2.
No, it's 1.2.
I know how to do math. I've said 1.2 to myself in my sleep last night.
There are too many liberal arts majors in this chat.
Yeah,
What's that supposed to mean?
That is a big problem. But Mike the Whitman, man.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Let's transition then to the game of the week, the implication versus Dan's minuscule Guido Cock. 141 to 133. PJ takes the win with the lineup: Josh Allen, J.K. Dobbins, James Conner, Keenan Allen, Devontae Adams, Hayden Hurst, Devontae Parker, Steelers D, Daniel Carlson. And Mike lost with the lineup of Derek Carr, Chase Edmonds, Michael P. Ryan, Tyreek Hill, Terry McLaurin, Travis Kelce, Michael Thomas, Texans D, and Steven Gostkowski. Mike, what are your regrets?
Well, this is really a tough week for me, man. Like, I had Tony Pollard going as my RB2 since like Friday. I was really high on that pick because I thought Zeke wasn't going to play.
Right.
And it comes Sunday morning, he's starting. After ditch Tony Pollard, scramble, put the Michael P. Ryan in. Doesn't do that well for me.
He still outscored both of my running backs, by the way.
That's true. That was though he was playing the Monday night game. I needed a bigger game from him. Ended up coming up a little bit short. I was also a little disappointed with Michael Thomas coming back after like 6 or 7 weeks now, only putting up 10.1. That's pretty rough. And like you said, Jake, I am in the familiar 3 and 6 position, even though I have the second most points for in the entire league, which I think is absolute bullshit.
That sucks.
I like to play the card right now that I've had the most points scored against me. So,
Yeah,
there's
it's
my
a tough
white
world we
flag.
live in.
Yeah. Devontae Adams and Josh Allen saved me.
Big boys.
Keenan Allen put up 25, even though Mike said he's overrated.
Keenan Allen's a
man.
beast.
Yeah, but yeah, the James Conner and J.K. Dobbins combining for 9 points, being both outscored by Chase Edmonds and LaMichael P. Ryan is definitely not ideal. And then Tyreek Hill, Terry McLaurin, Travis Kelce, that trio really made me not very confident going into like the Monday night games, or even the Sunday night game. I was very scared of Michael Thomas, but then Michael Thomas came in clutch and didn't do too well. So, I'm proud. I'm happy. Off week from James Conner. Getting Nick Chubb back. Like I'm.
It's scary.
Everything's looking. Yeah, I'm looking up. I'm excited.
It's worth
I
noting
was
Mike
riding.
Sorry, it was worth noting that you also had Joe Mixon and Joe Burrow on bye, who I assume are starters usually.
Yes, normal starters there.
Mhm.
But I was
And
gonna
Chris
mention-
Carson.
I was so worried about the Seahawks offense. I have the Bills D going normally because I've been riding Chris Carson and DK Metcalf in another league. I put them on my bench and started the Texans, who are also trash. Could have started the Bills, who would have put up 9, and again made me a little more competitive.
Ooh,
Could have squeaked out the win if I made the perfect move, but
But still. Can't ask for perfection.
We kind of need it though. 3-5 moving to the playoffs.
Exactly.
3-6.
3-6
The implication is sinking.
I was taking a look at it, Mike, and we have a shot in terms of the fact that there's one playoff spot. So Brian's out, but then it's me and you at 3-6, and then Jonah and Adam at 4-5. So it's us. We're all playing for that playoff spot, I feel.
Yeah. We are fortunate there's 6 spots, not
Yeah, the 6 spots is very generous, and I'm not complaining right now, specifically.
Mike, your valiant effort actually, I think, kicked you up a spot in my power rankings because I got a up close and personal look at your team, and once you get, obviously Joe Mixon and Burrow off bye, and then Chris Carson back healthy, like that's a terrifying lineup to look at.
Michael Thomas.
Yeah, I got a stacked team. We put up points. We just play teams that are really hot.
Yeah. I think of those 4 teams that you mentioned, Jake, I think the implication probably has the best chance to make some noise and sneak into a playoff spot and then knock off. Yeah.
I absolutely agree, and I'm going to use that to transition into our power rankings of this week.
All right. So yeah, you wanna say this at the same time like we've been doing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You ready?
All right, 1.
PJ.
Top spot on the power rank is me.
Dan's minuscule Guido Cock. I think that's.
Yep.
What do you guys think? Do you think PJ's top of the league?
Hell no.
It's definitely Josh. What are you talking about?
All right,
It's Josh.
all right. But then let's talk about this. Christian McCaffrey going to be out next week. PJ getting Nick Chubb back. How do you guys feel now?
No.
I mean, it helps.
Tell me. I
Hell
need an
no.
argument. I need an argument.
Josh has got DK Metcalf.
PJ's got Devontae Adams.
I've got Devontae Parker or Devontae Adams.
He has James Robinson.
PJ has Nick Chubb.
I have Keenan Allen.
Russell Wilson.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
Ugh. I don't know.
Keep
Josh.
going. Keep running them out.
I don't know, man.
It
I
really
think
depends on how
Look at
long
the tight end position.
McCaffrey's
Look at who
out
he's
for.
starting at tight end.
Ebron, that's
Dude.
beat.
Kittle just got
versus-
hurt. Kittle literally just got hurt. Don't rub it in.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Josh has the Kittle injury going. It's just like Josh is
Also-
just.
PJ, you have
Also-
Robert Tunyon. Like, you don't have a great tight end either.
Well, that's because Hayden Hurst is on bye. So
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Hayden Hurst is filth. He's gonna be good.
Do you guys read the news that George Kittle was like, yeah, my injury says I'm supposed to be out 8 weeks, but I'm coming back in 2.
Did he actually?
yep.
He said that,
Yeah,
and
I saw him
his
picking him
coaches
up.
were like, "Dude, you can't. Like, it's broken. Like, you can't do that." He's insistent. So I don't know what's gonna happen.
Oh boy, do you have him on your bench still?
Yeah, I kept him just in
Oh
case.
shit, you're wild. But yeah, so we got PJ at the top spot. Of course, second is Josh. So you can make the argument for either one. I'm personally putting it up to the Kittle injury and the McCaffrey spottiness that I just like PJ's team a little bit more right now. Adams is kind of filthy.
Yeah. Yeah, agree with all that. Like, obviously, we are probably the best 2 teams easily in the league.
Yeah, I think that's inarguable.
Yeah.
I see
Number
Mike
3.
itching to say something.
Well, no, Mike will like my number 3.
Number 3. All right, ready? I got Kyle. It's a lock.
I got Mike.
You got
No
Mike at number
way.
3.
What?
Number 3.
Oh, it means
I'm
absolutely nothing, but I'll take it.
throw records out the window. This is about the talent on the team, the talent on the roster.
That's not what a power ranking is.
It is for me, Josh. It is for me.
No disrespect. I think Mike's team is good, but he's not 3.
Wow,
No,
that's a lot of
the way-
disrespect.
He's probably
4.
The
All right,
way
hey,
I do power
I've got
rankings
Kyle.
is
Say
I,
no disrespect and be like, he's ranked worse. You're like, this is not even disrespect. Like,
I have
this
more
is just
points
not
than PJ.
you, Mike.
I've got Kyle at 3, and I like him at 3 because Aaron Rodgers is having a season. Aaron Jones is very good. Zeke, who is playing terrible, is his RB2, but like, so what? So be. Amari Cooper, Tyler Lockett, Darren Waller, and Brandon Cooks in the flex right now, who's been playing well. So I liked Kyle for the number 3 spot here.
I actually have Kyle at 4. So,
Got you.
I kind of agree with a lot of what you're saying. It's just Zeke underperforming.
It is
but
concerning there.
getting Aaron Jones back is going to be huge for him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, other than that, I just the way I do power rankings is I look at each roster and I decide, I rank which roster I would rather have. And honestly, I would rather have Mike's over Kyle's. I mean, I would rather have mine over everyone else, but like, I would rather have mine first, and then if I couldn't have mine, I would have Josh's, and if I couldn't have Josh's, I'd rather have Mike's.
I think we have a methodology issue. Because Mike's team, I think, is probably second or third best. But because of his record, it's just the playoffs are looking...
You throw the record
These
out
are
the window.
subjective power rankings.
Yeah.
All right.
I just gotta slip in there, Josh.
PJ, using that power
Josh's-
rankings theory, like,
Josh is
what
at
would you
number
have to
2.
give up in your
He's
life to
upset.
take my roster? Like,
Ooh. I don't know if I could
Wouldn't
do
you have to
anything.
get something to take your
no,
shitty-ass
give
roster?
like, yeah, he'd have to get something. Like, you'd have
Yeah.
to win a prize to take my roster.
I mean, if you...
$10,000.
It's like the Make-A-Wish Foundation, but for fantasy.
Just a full team swap.
If you paid me the amount of money that I would win when I win the championship, I would gladly take your roster right now. I'll do a
that's
full
a
roster
lame
swap.
fucking- yeah, I would take the money that I would take for being number 1 just by taking the last roster. Like, obviously, PJ.
It's a win-win for both of us. You pay me the money now, I trade you all of my team, and then I captain your ship
Yeah,
for
then
the
Brian,
rest.
you could say you won fantasy football. It might be worth your time.
Whoa, Bri.
Put the nice money to use.
That's a lot of, self-confidence you'll get from that.
It's all about the ego at the end of the day.
Yeah. You said you had Kyle in 4th. My 4th place is Vinny's team, Zan Newton. And I'm specifically looking at Austin Eckler coming back from injury. Not soon, but I know that he will. And when he comes back, then I'm very scared of Zan Newton.
I disagree with you there, Jake. I have, is this 4 right now, or
Yeah.
is this 5?
You already shared your 4. I'm just
I
sharing.
already said 4?
Yeah.
All right.
You said
Yeah.
Kyle.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I said Kyle. I agree. Vinny's
Kyle
farther
Walker.
down for me.
I might be the worst 5-4 team, honestly.
I like Stephon Diggs. I like DeAndre Hopkins. I like Gronk. I love Patrick Mahomes. And Giants D ain't half bad. Justin Tucker's the best in the league. Austin Eckler coming back. I'm hype. You can figure out to play David Johnson or David Montgomery in RB2 week to week. You'll figure Or Leonard Fournette, honestly. That's scary. That's a good RB2. I'm loving your team. I'm loving your team at 4.
Yeah.
I talked myself
I guess I just had a bad
way
weekend.
into
Best.
it. Yeah, just an off week. Justin Jefferson's a sexy flex, too. Cook's just been eating too much.
It's just the David Johnson, David Montgomery combo is just not something I'd want.
But it's going to be an Austin Eckler Leonard Fournette combo by the time the playoffs roll in.
It's a sketchy combo, I agree.
Yeah, but like even still, Fournette's ceiling is really limited with Ronald Jones, and I mean there's no guarantees with injuries, so I don't know. I mean Austin Eckler will be nice, but who knows? Like
I do
I
think
don't
I
know.
have the best wide receiver pairing.
Stephon Diggs D-Hop is very scary. Stephon Diggs has been filth this year. He hasn't scored below 10 all year. And he's scored above 20 like 4 times.
yeah, and then Justin Jefferson as your flex, like I mean you're capped with Kirk Cousins there, like and Dalvin Cook, so I mean I don't know, like I don't know. I have you at 7.
Ooh, that's deep.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to 5th, Peach. I've got a team has no name. Eddie Wild.
I have Adams
Gabagool Gang
Gabagool Gangbang.
in 5th.
So Kyler Murray, Dalvin Cook. is a wombo combo right there.
For sure.
Miles Sanders on bye, Travis Fulgham on bye. I mean, Mike Evans. I mean, he's boomer
You say
bust.
Travis
like,
Fulgham on bye. I say Calvin Ridley injured.
Fulgham's
Yes.
gonna get phased out.
Maybe. I mean, Travis
He
Fulgham.
shouldn't,
He's
but he will.
I
And
think
that's
Johnny
from
Smith.
Philly.
Johnny Smith's a pretty weak tight end spot.
yeah, that's true. But I mean, other than that, like that's a solid lineup right there. And Claypool in the flex is also pretty nice, and he also has Deontay Johnson, so he's kind of got that coin flip of who to start every week.
I've got
But,
Adam in
I mean-
eighth personally.
Yeah, but I mean, my methodology. I look at the team. I
do you
I would
want?
love to have. I'd love to have Kyler Murray as my QB.
You would.
I'd
You
love to
don't
have
want
Dalvin
D
Cook as
Hop
my
or
running back
Patrick
one.
Mahomes or Stephon Diggs. You know, fuck those guys.
No, I mean I would, but like not as much as I'd want Kyler Murray, Dalvin Cook, Mike Evans, Miles Sanders, Calvin Ridley.
No. I feel you. But my number 5, Ed's team. Lamar Jackson's been a little weak this year, but like it's not like he's putting up complete fantasy duds. Alvin Kamara's could be dad of the year. Todd Gurley finds a touchdown every week, no matter what anyone says. Curtis Samuel has all of a sudden popped off. Sterling Shepard.
But will he continue to pop off? That's the thing.
That is the thing. On his bench, though, he still does have Cooper Kupp and T. Higgins, who
And Brandon Ayuk.
And Brandon Ayuk, who I'm guessing will start over those two guys anyway. Evan Ingram's looking better lately, putting up 15.8 this week. He's looking involved in that offense. And Antonio Gibson, he's a starting running back in the NFL, so he's going to get his 12 points. And he'll probably mix up that flex. He'll probably put Curtis Samuel there. So I like Ed's team at 5. Cold Stee is good. Young Wei Koo is a dad.
I got Ed at 6, so the only reason I have him lower than you is just Lamar Jackson being a bust.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, he can easily figure it out because he is Lamar Jackson, but I mean, just how he's been playing, that kind of tanks him a little bit. Like, you still start him every week, but I mean, I'd rather not have Lamar Jackson there.
And then going on to my 6th spot I mentioned was Mike. Looking at Mike's team, I don't know. If we're going on PJ's metric, I don't know if I'm dying for Derek Carr or Michael P. Ryan. I'm joking.
Well, those guys are getting there real quick.
No, I
Those are
know.
quick
He's flexible. He's flexible on the waiver wire. That's the thing.
He's got a
He's
lot.
playing
he's
his
got a lot to
card.
work
Yeah.
with. He lost Mike
He's wheeling and
Davis
dealing.
to McCaffrey, but hey, Mike Davis might start next week.
Yeah, I don't know about that. He might become sexy again.
Yeah, I didn't realize that he might be sexy again.
Yeah. My number 7 is Vinny. For a lot of the reasons that Jake mentioned, but the main thing for me is the David Johnson, David Montgomery duo at running back. Not too great. Not too hot there.
We've mentioned. I got Jonah, Team Haas in the 7th spot here. His team didn't look appealing this week, but Tom Brady, Derrick Henry, Julio Jones, Adam Thielen, those are like good guys, and he won't start Jonathan Taylor again. He'll play Jerry Jeudy or Mike Williams or someone that'll be a little bit better. So, I don't love his team, especially after that Bucs performance and the way that Cook's just taking everything fantasy-wise on the Vikings. But his team's aight. Ronald Jones isn't that good.
Is this 8, Jake?
Yeah, this is my 8th spot. Or 7th
Alright,
spot,
my-
sorry, 7th spot.
7th spot?
My 8th spot's Adam.
Interesting.
I got him deep.
Deep? You don't like Dalvin Cook?
I like Dalvin Cook, but like he's had his 2
You don't
good
like
weeks.
Kyler Murray, Jake?
I love Kyler Murray. I don't. Cole Beasley, Justin Jackson, Corey Davis, Jonnu Smith. I don't love.
I don't know about that, dude. You like Miles Sanders? I mean, I don't love Miles Sanders, but like you can do much worse at running back too.
That is true. Kyler Murray is a very scary piece of his team. We don't have to mention Cook, but like, it's just like that wombo combo is pretty dangerous. That's going to get him probably plus 50 points every week pretty easily. So he can kind of fuck up like he did this week with everywhere else.
Yeah, that's the thing. The 1-2 punch of Kyler Dalvin is just too
I
young
will
for me
say
to
I-
have him that low.
I will say I also take coaching the coach of the team into account, and I feel like Adams he fiddles with that lineup. I feel like he overthinks. You know, he's got to just figure it out. You know.
Very fair. My 8th spot is a one Jake Shevchenko, the Wet Dad Inks. Yeah. Higher than Jake has himself, so you're welcome, Jake. Deshaun Watson is pretty nards. I mean, Josh Jacobs has been disappointing. Your running backs are very disappointing. DJ Dallas, I'm sure you're going to drop and try and get someone else.
Like I said, though, but I'm down to it's either going to be Clyde or Swift going forwards or Moss. That's why I'm hoping for Swift or Moss to start picking up some more carries. I need them to be a solid RB2.
Yeah, I mean, I like Will Fuller. I like Allen Robinson. Even though like Big Dick Nick is not playing like he has a big dick. AJ Brown is a really good wide receiver too.
Thank you, Josh, for AJ Brown.
You're welcome. Man, I want to see my original team, like a Venn diagram of my original team compared to like future teams. I don't even. There's been so much change.
Yeah, you've made you're probably over 50 moves by now. I don't have it in front of me, but you were at fucking 43 last week, and God knows you average like 6 moves a week. So like your team's probably completely different. It would honestly be very interesting to see.
Except DK.
Yeah, DK's the one
DK
constant. The Seahawks. And then 9th place for me is myself. But who's your 9th place?
I have Jonah.
Oh boy, dropped him low. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel you.
I was 10th for both years.
Oh
Yeah.
100%.
Okay, how many weeks in a row am I last place? Just be honest.
Every
Yeah.
week
Like
so far.
3. It looks like you don't play a couple weeks. You're 350 points behind the next to last person.
Fuck yeah.
So yeah, that rounds off the end of our power rankings there. Some fun stuff. And that also ends our show. Thank you, Josh, Mike, Brian, and Vinny for coming on. It was a good time.
Next week.
So next
Yeah.
week.
Back on
Thank you,
Thursday.
guys.
Alright, I'll see you guys.
Peace.
Hey guys.
Bye.
And that's just the end of episode 5. I hope everyone enjoyed. We'll catch you. We'll be recording Thursday night, so next one should be out Friday morning. See you then.